everyone, welcome back. Or if you're just joining, my name is Maya and welcome to my channel, Cranley Place, where I'm posting content on scarf style, knot tutorials, and more. Be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe to be notified of new videos, which I'm publishing weekly. Picking up where we left off last week, in this video I want to talk about more of the new Hermès scarf designs from the Fall/Winter 2022 collection. I've been pleasantly surprised that many are even popping up on the US website far sooner than I expected. So let's get started. This, of course, is the larger cashmere GM cousin of the 90cm silk twill of the same name from the Spring/Summer 2022 season. The design was inspired by many of the treasures in the Émile Hermès collection. Beitlich, as I've mentioned before, is a multidisciplinary artist with his background in illustration, graphic design, painting, and drawing. It may interest you to know that in addition to his extensive design work with the house, he is quite a prolific author and illustrator of children's books. And another fun fact, he is also apparently an ultra-marathon runner and alpinist. But back to the scarf. The colorful braids, spirals, optical illusions, and textures invite us on a journey with this imaginary saddle. If you look closely, you can see the portrait of his dog Clusa near the center of the scarf on one of the adornments. This is available so far in at least 4 colorways, and I guess I have a thing about ochre this season since I'm drooling over that one. And of course, I am also a huge fan of the contrast hems in all the colorways. Which ones would you choose? This next one I mentioned a few weeks ago as well. It's a 140cm cashmere by Italian artist Gianpaolo Pagni, in which he's layered his colorful stamp style reinterpretations of floral patterns atop more realistic plant illustrations superimposed on a written botanical index. It's interesting that the practice of botanical illustration can actually be traced back to somewhere between 50 to 70 CE. If you're confused by that notation, it means current era, and some may call it AD. But anyways, at that time, Greek botanist Pedanius Dioscorides published an illustrated book called De Materia Medica to help readers identify plant species for medicinal purposes. Then, much later, with 18th century advances in printing processes, this allowed the color and details of botanical drawings to become even more accurate on paper. But back to the scarf. Available in at least 3 colorways, you can see that so far all of them have contrast hems and this bicolor contrast border, which is not something I ever recall seeing in any format. It's a subtle touch that adds yet another layer of visual interest to this already captivating design. I am tempted by the navy one. Of course, it looks just fabulous, but honestly, I wouldn't say no to any of the other colorways either. What do you think? Here's another scarf I also highlighted the other week. This is a 100cm cashmere from the men's collection by Evan Hecox, a multidisciplinary US-based artist and designer who once designed snowboard graphics for a brand called Twist in San Francisco, and eventually became the longtime art director at Chocolate Skateboards, creating the famous Chocolate Chunk font that is the brand's signature today. Incidentally, Jeff McFetridge, who designed this season's Homage à Gene Kelly scarf, also worked with Chocolate Skateboards years ago, having done a series of Chocolate Skateboard deck graphics in chocolate syrup, no less, drawing different people in syrup using primary colors as backgrounds. Maybe it's by design, but what a stroke of fate, luck, whatever you want to call it, that these 2 designers also end up debuting scarf designs with the house in the same year, let alone the same season. This striking scarf is shown in at least 4 colorways so far, all of which have contrast hems. And darn it again, Hermes, if my initial favorites aren't the blue ones, but I certainly wouldn't refuse the other colorways either. Here's a new stirrup design by Virginie Jamin, Fantasy d'Étrier, or Fantasy Stirrups, which if you think about it, it's not dissimilar to the train of thought in this year's Selle Imaginaire by Jan Beitlich. If you saw my episode last week, I talked a bit about the origins of stirrups in my discussion of another stirrup-centric design, Étrier Remix, the Cashmere Giant Triangle by Françoise de la Perrière. To continue that train of thought, it really is fascinating how this relatively simple invention impacted world history, mainly because it revolutionized horseback riding and changed how battles were fought. For example, with the help of stirrups, Genghis Khan's Mongols emerged from Asia and literally built an empire. For European cavalries, it was thanks to stirrups that they could wear armor and carry heavy weapons while staying balanced on the horse. Incidentally, the Greeks and Romans, while formidable warriors, apparently did not use stirrups, instead using their legs to hold tightly to the horses. Talk about a workout. But I digress. This 90-centimeter silk twill is shown so far in 5 colorways, again, all with contrast hems. Thank you, Hermes, for this extra pop. This design has so many colors and textures to work with, but if I had to name a favorite or two, it would be the anthracite and vermilion colorways. Here's a design we've been waiting for by Katie Scott with this whimsical display of paper lanterns. The earliest known paper lanterns actually originated during the Eastern Han Dynasty in China, sometime between 25 to 220 AD, or CE for the non-secular reference. In ancient China, the art of making lanterns was a collection of crafts, including Chinese painting, paper cutting, and needlework. The materials used for lantern frames include bamboo, wood, wheat straw, and metal, with paper and silk traditionally the major materials. Popular illustrations on the lantern would typically include things like landscapes, portraits of great people, dragon and phoenix designs, birds, and fish. Of course, Katie Scott has brought her own artistic point of view with this plethora of animals, fish, flowers, and more, which give the design wonderful color and texture variations that I'm sure will yield a variety of styling options. Blue one aside, at least for me, I am still quite drawn to the first colorway I saw of this design, the multicolored fuchsia and black one. This next one is a reprise of Jamin's 2011 design inspired by stirrups in the Emile Hermes collection, now here in a wash version. Supposedly, these can be machine washed, and now that I think about it, the Hermes Matique pop-ups a few years ago used machines for the dip dyeing, so maybe it's safe to try. I don't know, I still haven't taken that leap, but I know some of you have. Anyways, Concours d'Étrier translates to stirrup competition. Again, with the stirrups. Seriously, what other kind of fun facts can I share with you about stirrups? Well, I can say that choosing stirrups is apparently quite a serious business, depending on the type of riding, the rider's level, comfort, and of course, budget. And just because Hermes started out as a bespoke equestrian harness and saddle maker, I had to look to see if they make stirrups. And in fact, they do, along with incorporating this theme throughout their métier d'art, including obviously the silks, men's ties, leatherware, and even jewelry. So back to the scarf, it's available in at least 5 colorways, and if I had to choose one that didn't involve blue, I really like this Abricot Brie Rose one, which should be a flattering combo for most, if not all, complexions. La Réale, I believe, was originally issued in 1953. Wow! Its inspiration reportedly came from one of the model ships that was part of a collection in the Musée National de la Marine in Paris. The Musée National de la Marine is located in the iconic Palais de Chaillot on Paris's right bank. It's the main French institution entirely dedicated to the French maritime history and hosts an important collection of paintings, models, and maritime artifacts. It overlooks the Eiffel Tower and the surrounding Champ de Mars on the other side of the Seine, and is a true masterpiece of the French Art Deco style that was conceived in 1937 on the site of the former Palais de Trocadero. So this design is available in at least 4 colorways so far, and with striped hems, no less. I'm glad to see that Hermès is now using this design element across different formats. It really adds even more visual interest without being too busy in my mind. So there you have it, more of the upcoming Fall/Winter 2022 scarves from Hermès. Please like the video if you enjoyed it, and let me know what you think in the comments. In my next episode, I believe there are even more from the Fall/Winter collection that I need to show you, so be sure to hit that subscribe button to be notified of new videos. Thanks again for joining me today. Until next time.